Welcome to the Investing Bros. I am T Shroom. You can't get enough of me, apparently. I'm happy to be here. We're going to be jumping into the charts, and we're going to be jumping into this CPI inflation, which is coming out pretty bullish. Now, we're in the first couple of minutes of trading based on this information here. The actual print, this is the hot print right here. I shouldn't say hot, actually. It's hot off the press, I should say. But this is a beat. Or met, I'm sorry. It's a meet. So it met consensus, and it came in under forecast. So it did beat forecast, which is good, and then it also beat the previous. So it's a double beat in some sense, but it's a meet on consensus. The good news is that it did not come in hotter than previous. This is the main important thing to me. 3.8% was not exceeded, and as you can see, this is the core inflation rate. So this is very, very important. This is what everybody's going to be taking a look at here. Let's take a look at the other data. Inflation rate month over month, 0.3, came in lower. Met forecast, came in lower the consensus, so that's bullish. Inflation rate year over year, came in bullish. Beat forecast, met consensus, and beat previous. And then core inflation rate month over month came in and met across the board and beat previous. So there's not a bearish print here at all. There's not a hot print. It is a hot off the press print, but it is not a hot print. Bros, this could be a turning point for the market. The S&P has been in a little bit of a slump. Bitcoin's been in a bit of a slump. This could be the return to the upside. And I'm excited about this. This could be. Now, it's a big could. Could's doing a lot of work in that sentence, right? But it is something to go ahead and get excited about, at least for this moment. It's great, right? Very, very great. Now, this episode is brought to you all by who we trust, which is iTrustCapital. You guys can go ahead and click the link in the description to get started on your free $100 towards investing in crypto. And it's in a tax-advantaged account, so you're going to be able to save a bundle on crypto taxes. Why wouldn't you? You have everything to gain and nothing to lose. Free $100, right? Super, super cool. Well, let's go ahead. Let's jump into the charts here. Yesterday, I pulled up the Bitcoin to gold charts. We're going to do the same here. And it's moving in the right direction. Hasn't broken out yet. Hasn't broken out to the upside quite yet. But this is good. It's a good move. Very, very good move. Kyle Field says, wrong screen. We need this. Kyle Field says, good morning. Kyle Field says 500. Kyle Field's very vocal this morning. Robert Chu said they took coffee out of the equation. Yeah, I heard about that. Doesn't matter. Those are the types of things not to get caught up on, right? Traders are not sitting there thinking, oh, but they took coffee out. I got to short this market. If you have a propensity to think that way, you got to be very, very careful with trading on the little details that you think Wall Street's going to trade on. It's a good point, and I'm glad you brought it up because it's a good thing. Wall Street is a big game of telephone, right? If the print says one way, the print says one way. Until the Bureau of Labor Statistics gets an act from Congress to be investigated in their practices, you have to take their word as gold because that's how Wall Street's going to take it. Brandon Boutry said, and maybe you disagree with me. Let me know in the comments. Do you disagree with that? Do you think that the Bureau of Labor Statistics lies? Or do you think that everything they produce is factual as it can be? Brandon Boutray said, come with it, bros. Watching from Cypress, Texas. Let's go. Cypress, Texas. That sounds like a fun, kind of leafy, lush area of Texas. I know Austin's very green. I was there this year and last year, and it was very beautiful. Crux of Crypto said, everyone having a good morning? I know I am. Good morning, Shroom, says Meek Vision. Bought the dip last night. Let's go. Crux, I hope you're feeling better, my man. I know Crux is under the weather. Tim's under the weather. I'm just the bro on the beat here. Keeping it real. Keeping it the wheels turning here. Eric Wallen said, what do I DCA into? Everything is going up. Yes. Let's go ahead and jump on over to the bubbles because Eric almost said Crypto Wallen. That would have been hilarious. Yeah, the bubbles are good. Arweave leads the pack here forward. Arweave up 13.9%. Ondo up 4.2. Floki never stopped gaining. I will point out, when this screen was red about 15 minutes ago before we got the print. This whole screen was red except for Floki and like one other coin. But that doesn't matter now because the CPI print is in and it is a beat and a meet. It's a meat beat. It's a meet and beat. Yeah, oh my gosh. It's a meet and beat. That is not a thing, but maybe it will be. Tau up, TAO. This is one that I scooped up a little bit, not a lot. I should get more of it, but you know, this one's up 8.8%. That's Tau. BitTensor. AVAX up 3.7. AIOZ up 4%. More than likely, bros, you're looking at this screen. Caspa up 1%. You're looking at this screen and you're thinking, hey, I have one of those that's up more than 5%, right? Or up, AGIX is up 3.1. I have some of those. So, like, what does that mean? That means that there's general optimism in the market today because not only are you winning on the Bitcoin side, you're also winning on the altcoin side as well. So that is going to be something to consider, where there could be some euphoria start to work its way into the market and start to really push prices to the upside. Well, speaking of which, we've looked at Bitcoin to gold. Now let's look at Bitcoin to the old fiat that everyone loves to hate on, but loves to look at the pairs of. And that would be, of course, Bitcoin to USD. And why am I taking so long to get to the chart? Well, because I'm a slowpoke. Let's take a look at it here. Bitcoin to USD is moving higher to the upside. It's nice to see. Let's look at the Bollinger Band. Bollinger Band has been thoroughly penetrated to the upside. The candlestick has moved up and even wicked as high as 64.1. I got a notification this morning after the CPI print, and I was like, whoa, that happened fast. And it did, because there was a lot of bullish pressure that's been built up here. So far, the candlestick has moved as a total from open, a total of 4.2 to the upside, and live price is 3.2. Let's go down to the 4 hour and see what we can't pull out. I might even get a little bit crazy and go down to the 1 hour. I know for you experienced traders, you're rolling your eyes because these are the higher time frames for you. But I like to stay up in the higher time frames, and we may even take a look at the weekly. Although that's the bearish one. Shh, don't talk about the weekly charts. All right, let's take a look here. So we're really keeping an eye on this breakout or on this move to the upside, retest, breakout. And look, bros, this is the most breaky outiest. This is the most dumpski, reaccumulate, pumpski that I've seen so far, right? And this is good, right? We're finally getting. This was a descending. I've since erased the descending triangle, but there's a descending triangle in here somewhere. Where did that descending triangle go? In any case, we've broken through the downtrending line of support, finally gotten that breakthrough, retest, and this is looking like an actual breakout. So what am I looking for? Well, I'm looking for levels to the upside for us to potentially get rejected on and end our dreams, right? Or to take a short if you're trading, or to just keep an eye on, right? So I've got the fixed range volume profile here pulled up, and as you can see, one of the next important levels here is going to be 63.9, call it 63.9, heavy volume of accumulation right here. So this is going to be interesting to see how we can break through that. Let's turn that off and let's turn on a similar indicator, which is the breaker blocks here from Lux Algo Price Action Concepts. You can see that that is actually does that coincide completely? Yeah, it does. Well, look at that. Look at that confluence right there. So this 63.9 level is going to be important. You might even call that. Let me zoom in for precision. Pause while I zoom for precision. Yeah, it's more like 63.88 too. So 63,888 is almost like precisely. I called it 63.9 though, which you could probably get away with it. But anyway, yeah, that's going to be a next important level of resistance in my opinion. Notice we have already wicked through that, right? So that's euphoria, right? The next level of resistance really should have been met here. Price should have then, on the lower time frames. Let's go down to the hour. Ooh, we're doing it. We're doing it. Should have rejected off there and made a move downside, made a move down, and then probably, I'm guessing we're going to find some support here. What's important, bros? What's really important? in trading, what's important in investing, what's important in trying to diagnose if price is going higher or lower. We did get, well, I'm on the 1 hour, but we did get a buy print here from Lux, which is nice. Got a penetration through this cloud here. Very, very good stuff. Let's see. What is important, though? Let's answer the question down on the lower time frames where no one can hear us. The important aspect here is higher lows. Boom, boom, boom. Respecting this uptrending line of support very nicely, right? Bulls being very scrupulous, being very dedicated and disciplined, and making sure they're buying up as the level comes back down into this buy zone, otherwise known as support level. And then also putting in a higher high, not only here, right, but also a higher high than back here. So this is really nice to see. Really nice to see. And one could even say, with how much enthusiasm we've broken higher here, you could probably go ahead and, I'm not going to kill it, I'm going to recycle. I'm a recycler here. On investing with Investing Bros, we recycle. You could even start to draw this line here. Or you could actually bring it down, might be a little more appropriate to this line. Ooh, that's a nice, yeah, that's right. We found that ascending triangle. So it's a breakout. It's a breakout. Yeah, I shouldn't have erased that ascending triangle because that seems to be breaking out now. I mean, it would have anyway, but so the breakout level for this, I believe it was 66.8. So that would put us right back in the platinum pocket very nicely. If this breakout, goes to its full extension. Now that doesn't mean that from there it turns around and immediately reverses back to the downside. But that is kind of a one way to measure a move if you're going to try to trade this. That's a trading technique. But yeah, let me know. What do you guys think about this ascending triangle pattern that seems to have been broken out of here? I think it looks pretty clean. I think it looks pretty nice. You could zoom in and draw it not at the wicks but at the candlesticks, which would give it a little bit less of a breakout because that line extension is going to be shorter. But I like this. I think this looks clean. I think this looks really good, and it's given me a lot of confidence in Bitcoin that has been just consolidating to the downside in what seems to be a never-ending descending wedge, a wedge's cousin that got demorphed, that got mutated. I suppose it is still a descending wedge, but I almost don't even want to go there. Let's not go back to the descending wedge. This has been consolidation, right? Let's just call it what it is. This has been consolidation, and we're finally getting a move higher, a break higher, but it needs to pick up, right? Because there is a line here. I think I will go ahead and draw it. Man, you could draw it here, candlestick to candlestick. Let's avoid doing that. Well, let's leave that there for now because it's truth, right? When we draw, we draw. You could even put it here, right? But let's see. Let's do another one. Let's do it from here to, is that the same one? Yes. Down to here. So we've got a nice breakout if you're doing it on these candlesticks right here. And then if you wanted to go wick, you could go wick, and that gives it a little bit more of like we're just breaking out now. I think I like that the most. I think I like that. I think this one may come into play a little later on, but obviously this wouldn't come into play until 69. We would be back in the platinum pocket by that point, which is nice. But we have some time before we get there. So I'm going to kill that one. We might bring that one back at some point. But I like these lines. I like these lines right here for the daily, and then kind of zooming more into the 4 hour. I like these lines for the ascending triangle. So what are we watching for here, bros? What are we watching for? Let me give you a second. See if you can answer. If we've gotten a breakout here, what is coming next? What is coming next? Well, short sellers or folks who are looking to short the market right here, they're kind of finger on the trigger. They're probably taking some positions right now because what happens here, and you got to even go down a couple time frames, don't you? Is that we need to see a move back, a test of this support, and then a push higher. Now, could Bitcoin just push higher without a test? It already has. It's wicked higher, right? So that's definitely in the cards that we don't need to come back and retest this, but it would be nice to see. That's a much more technical breakout, kind of confirming that line of support that only a couple minutes ago was resistance. What do we mean by that? Support and resistance. We're going ultra noob. We're doing one for the noobs here, bros. Smash the likes, and we're having fun. When Bitcoin was unable to break through this line, the bad line, this line of, even worse, we're going to keep it, of resistance, when Bitcoin's price is lower than the line, it's resistant. I got a lot of lines on here, don't I? We're going to keep it. We're going to trudge through. You're going to understand it because this was your moment to get support and resistance for the first time. So when Bitcoin's price action is below, it's only getting worse. Bitcoin's price action is below this line of resistance, it is resistance. The price action is below the line, it is resistance. We're talking about this white line. Now that Bitcoin has done all this trading, trying to figure out what the market wants to do, we've finally broken out here. This is the pivotal moment. Now this line is support, right? It has transformed. It now identifies as a support line. Oh man, we're having too much fun. So what we want to see is a retest and confirmation of that. That is just what the nerds call just a breakout confirmation, right? We want to see that. And the more you trade, the more you want to see that confirmation before you enter, right? Because Because if that's a phenomenon that happens, now you're a smart guy, smart gal, you're tuning into the Investing Bros, you're sitting here now. Now, chances are we could go lower from here, right? And that is true. We could go lower. There could be a loss of momentum. And we'll look at the momentum indicators here in a second. But what smart traders know is that there is going to be that retest. And with that retest, you get what? Downward movement, just in general. So what we could see is downward movement past the support line, which would be bad. And we've seen that again and again and again with these descending wedge breakouts, whether it was that really big one or the really small one more recently, where Bitcoin came back to retest the resistance to flip it into support, and it didn't, right? It made it into resistance again and then bonked its head and went lower until it needed that CPI print. So anyway, we're hoping for a retest and a breakout. We've gotten one here. We may even come down and retest this line here because this is also an important, oh goodness, my drawings this morning, because this is an important downtrending line of what was resistance, right? All through here, resistance. And now that is support too, or it has the potential to be flipped into support, to be confirmed as support. All right, well, all this is making a ton of sense. I really do feel like I've explained it somewhat well for the noobs, and for the experts, we're going to move on and look at the MACD. Not that the MACD is an expert indicator, but that's what you want. Oh, I'm on the 1 hour. On the 1 hour, it looks good. On the 1 hour, we're looking good here for Bitcoin. Not only are the green histograms going ahead and accelerating, but they have gotten up to that, and I don't look at the levels very often, 220 level, call it, which is higher than, higher than that 169 level. So the momentum in this upswing is stronger than the previous downswing. So that's good. Good to see. Taking a look at I'm on the 1 hour. Let's get off the 1 hour. Oh, got some reversal candy up here on the 1 hour. Maybe we're going back to ignoring reversal patterns, reversal prints. Remember like a month ago when we were talking about that? Sometimes you have to request a refund for your reversal to the downside indicators because they don't work anymore. Yeah, those were the days. All right, out on the daily chart. Why do we zoom out to look at the oscillators? Well, you don't have to. If you're trading on the 1 hour, you can just use the oscillators for the 1 hour, right? But I like to look at for just general reporting, kind of a news style look at the charts. I like to go and zoom out because most folks are not going to be day trading lower time levels. They're going to be either swing trading or just investing. Let me know in the chat. Are you more of a trader? Like day trading, like you're entering more than one trade and exiting one trade a day, more than that? Or are you a swing trader or something less than a day trader? Let me know. I know I said a lot of words there. But let me know, what's your trading style? What's your investment style, wealth building style? The ALGO oscillator for the daily chart here is looking good. We have just crossed the 50 line. I don't know that money flow has really turned around all that much. Yeah, still pointing to the downside. We'd like to see that kind of start to plateau and round over and come back as it did back here. When it did that, price went higher. Got a huge candlestick, but that was just bringing us out of the doldrums, right? That was just bringing us out of the golden pocket and back up to explore to the upside. Right now, we're seeing it and we're higher. So that's positive. That's very positive. The last time that we we're able to get a flip in the oscillator where that money flow went positive. And it doesn't even need to be green. It just needs to move in the better direction, the upside direction. Then we do get that flip, and it usually can be pretty bullish. And bros, we are not getting it yet. We are not getting it yet. I would not call this. I mean, I guess you could say there's been a slight change in this angle here, but that's very obtuse. Is it obtuse or obtruse? I think it's obtuse. It's a very obtuse angle. It's not acute. Right, this would be acute. We're not getting into this. I think the definition is just more or less than 90 degrees. Man, we're getting to some really nerdy stuff today. Maybe it's not as noob friendly as I thought, but this is an obtuse angle. But it is starting to potentially be a rounding off. So that is generally bullish. But I'm really reading into it there. I'm really wanting to find that bullishness. So take that for what it is. Oh, one more bullish thing here is we're crossing. We want to cross right back into this line here. This I call it the defining line. Once we cross back into that, then that's signaling continued bullish momentum. Right now on the daily, we've had, I should say, some bullish reversal candy here, but nothing really printing below the margin. I mean, we had one back here on the 11th, which wasn't too long ago, and so we're under a bullish reversal. I mean, they need to make these dots a little bit more. ALGO needs to make these dots a little bit more defined. I might be able to do that in my settings. I'm not going to try to fiddle with that, though, right now. All right, bros, we do have some news. And then the MACD on the daily is so weird. But finally, it's getting a little bit more form. It's getting a little bit more direction. And the MACD lines are starting to point up and to the right. Bros, let me know, how is this chart gazing doing for you? Are you getting some value out of this? I hope you are. And you can signal to me if you are by smashing the like. Smash it. With everything, all of the strength of your finger, smash that like. I'm going to feel it. I'm going to feel if you gave a weak like. I'm going to know. We have all of our AI technology honed to know if you gave a soft like or a hard. Oh man, I just felt a really hard like. Man, that's crazy. We have our AI anklets that we wear while we live stream, and it vibrates relative to how strong you're hitting the like. So make sure you're really hitting it. Ooh, ow, that one hurt, man. Oh, man, we're having fun. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to jump into some of the news here. But let me jump into the chat and see what the heck is going on, what folks are thinking about these charts. Kyle Field says acute is less than 90. Yes. And I'm so happy that I just remembered that in real time. It's probably been a decade since I've taken geometry. But acute and obtuse, those are like when you're learning about those, you're like, that's something I need to store away. That's something that's going to come back at some day. And today, May 15th, 2024, I needed it again. Thank you, Miss Humphreys. I'll have to send her a thank you note. Tradefly said, I mostly swing trade, but I did just set up a DCA account for the Piper Academy, bros. Oh, very cool. Very cool. Very nice. Yeah, so Tradefly over there at Piper Academy, along with Crux. Alumni in the chat. We're loving it. Loving to see it. Tradefly, let me know, what are you thinking about this CPI print? Do you think that this is the good stuff? Do you really think that they've delivered the goods here? And by they, I guess I mean the supply chain and global economy. Or do you think that this is just a little bit of a fake out by the CPI? Not necessarily, smudging the numbers by the Bureau of Labor Statistics, but it's just kind of it's a little bit of a cool down, a small cool down before a continued resumption higher for inflation. Speaking of which, let's take a look at inflation. I've got the inflation rates pulled up here. As you can see, 3.4, and it has generally been moving to the upside. The momentum has been getting a little bit more bullish. Not what we want to see, right? Because we want inflation to get down to 2%. So we really want these red histograms to continue to accelerate, to continue to manifest larger and not be smaller, which isn't what we're seeing, unfortunately. So let me know. I mean, basically, we've killed the 9.1 monster. That's been nice. The Fed has been able to do that, I guess. The Fed, along with, the actual, base effects, if you want to call them. Although Caleb may get on to me about saying the word base effects. But I think we're getting off tangent here. Let me know, not just Tradefly, what do you guys think about inflation here? Is it a head fake or is this the real deal? Is this the real deal? Are we actually coming back down with this tick lower here today? Let's see what else we got. We got Jim Kramer in the chat said, I try to invest with most and day trade swing with staked profits. Well, that is a very specific strategy. Thank you for sharing, Jim Kramer. Let's see. Gary C said, I'm a swing trader, not a swinger, just a swing trader. Man, we got some jokesters in the chat today. Let's go. Got some A1 comedians. Have you been on Kill Tony yet? Done your minute on Kill Tony? Not a PG show, folks. B-Ball Golf 72 said, the lowest volume of trading that isn't zero. The lowest volume of trading. Okay. So like a minimalist trader. Minimalist trader. You're sitting there in an empty room. You've got like a laptop on a desk. No and nothing else. You're just minimalist trading. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. Let's see. Kyle Fields said something interesting here. Crux of Crypto reminds me Nissan should make a silverback Titan to compete with the TRX and Raptors. You guys are way off on the cars. You guys are broing out on the cars. Super chat, $2 from Army Piper. What's up, Piper? Said, look at the weekly MACD. Yeah, we were trying to avoid. We were trying to avoid the weekly charts, Piper, because today's a bullish day. Maybe you know, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt here, Piper, that maybe what the weekly charts on the MACD is bullish, but we're going to look at it irregardless, which is not a word. We're going to look at it irregardless here. I'm checking on the gold charts. I got distracted. Gold charts are actually looking pretty good here, guys. Look at this, because it's exceeding these last two candles. By gold, I mean Bitcoin to gold. But c'est la vie. We got distracted. Let's go back and look here at the MACD. Ooh. For the weekly, I got distracted again. I'm getting too excited. I'm getting too jittery over here. All right, so MACD, but yeah, so this is bearish. So it has not improved. I guess you could say that the red histograms are accelerating at a decelerating rate, which is bullish. That's about all the bullishness I can pull out of this. So other than that, you know, you're going to have to let me know if there's anything else I should have pulled out of the Bitcoin MACD weekly charts, because it's just bearish. Now, what is good is to have some salad with your steak, right? Have a little salt with your sugar. It's good to have balance. Aristotle taught us this thousands of years ago. But the reality is that we do have a bearish weekly MACD. And this is important, right? You can't just brush this off. So what does that mean for Bitcoin? Well, it means that, you know, if we had gotten a bad print, then, you know, we could potentially be in a different world right now. You know, Bitcoin could have potentially, well, let's just measure it. You know, let's measure the move so far. We could be down as much as we're up, I guess, is going to be the conclusion, right? Where do we draw it? I guess let's draw it to the breakout. Well, let's just, if we're on the 4 hour, let's draw it here. You got to pick somewhere. So 4%. So that's somewhat humble. So let's go 4% to the downside. So we would have put in a new, potentially be talking about putting in a new low. And again, this is a fantasy scenario. If we'd gotten a bad print, we would probably be putting in a new low. And potentially, you know, if there was fear permeating the market, which we could assume that there might be, and let's say there's overselling, we could have even gotten back down below this 58.9 level, and even gotten below back into the golden pocket. It's possible. It's possible. But we didn't. We got a good print, and we were pushing higher here. Bitcoin in real time, pushing higher, exceeding these wicks. Let's just take a gaze here. I'm going to leave this up while we go back to chat. Piper, thank you so much for that super chat, reminding us that there are some definitely on the higher time frames in the weekly chart, some bearish factors to consider. Crux of Crypto said, thinking about selling my Bitcoin to buy MSTR. Not a bad move. Not financial advice, but not a bad move. Well, I do think it's a bad move to sell your, well, so the theory is that MSTR is American stock. If you don't live in America, you probably can't buy it, but it's an American stock for MicroStrategies, which owns a lot of Bitcoin. The theory is it's going to do an X of whatever Bitcoin does. So it's going to act as a leveraged instrument to Bitcoin's price exposure. So if Bitcoin goes up $1, it's going to go up 2 or 3 or 4 or 10, right? Whereas in Bitcoin, you'll kind of be left behind, so to speak. I don't know that I would sell Bitcoin at this point, because there's definitely tax implications to that. But I think MicroStrategies will do better in this bull run. So if that's how you're going to fund your MicroStrategies investment, then, say la vie. T-Shroom is a fungi. Now that is funny on levels that you probably didn't think. This isn't just a quippy little compliment, right? This is a fungi is a type of shroom. Well, I think a shroom is a type of fungi. I'm getting my nomenclature there backwards. But this is very funny. Now, I would kind of come back with Army Piper is and I can't think of anything clever. He's a fun guy too. He's a fun guy too, for sure. Let's see. In Cypress, Texas, RJ really letting us know. Really, a lot of representation today from Cypress, Texas. I don't know. Did we get a billboard there in Cypress, Texas? Did we do some targeted ads? Bitcoin really ripping here up 64,500. Bros, we have some news. We're going to get to the news. But I said it yesterday. I think the most significant, I don't have a visual reference for this, but I think the most significant news we got it yesterday. For the short term, the CPI print was really important. And now we're seeing the bullish outcome of, I think, what the news we got yesterday, which is the freaking Wisconsin pension fund is buying Bitcoin. What the heck? That is so big. That's such a big news. Is today's CPI a sell the news event? Doesn't look like it to me. I suppose it could play out as a sell the news. It doesn't seem like it to me. An important way to answer that question would be to ask, how are the indexes doing? We'll come back to Bitcoin. It's doing some price discovery to the upside today. It would be nice to see a close, by the way, of this 4-hour candlestick, obviously, but daily candlestick as well, above 64.8. That's where I really want to see Bitcoin close. That would be really nice. It's a multi-month candlestick. But let's look at the indexes here. Got the NASDAQ pumping up 0.7%. Up, or at least sometimes these quotes over here, I'm not going to do the percentages. The NASDAQ is up, it's getting up to 16,511. The Qs also doing really well. I had a something drawn there. Sorry if that was inappropriate. I had a SPX, the SPY here. Man, they're all pumping, right? Dow Jones up, right? So it all looks good. But Bitcoin to the Qs is actually up today as well. So this is the Bitcoin to the NASDAQ, or an ETF of the NASDAQ, I should say. T-Shroom, all these words, I don't know. I don't care about Wall Street. Okay, we'll move on. Let's go ahead and jump into the news. We got a super chat here. Oh, goodness. $3 from Malvin Mugu. Malvin M said, "Hey, T, can we take a quick look at Arweave, please?" Let's do it. Let me just preface by saying I do a lot of Bitcoin TA. I don't do a ton of TA outside of Bitcoin right now. Obviously, I'm capable of it. We have our chartist, who hopefully will be on today, TA Tim. Sometimes we let him be on the show. Sometimes I'll let him come on the show and do some TA. But I will do some TA for Arweave, and goodness gracious, this is going to be a fun one because it's very bullish today. I believe it's still the leader on the crypto boobles. It is. Yeah. Stacks is really moving today, up 8.5%. These percentages I trust. These are good percentages. I don't know why my trading view percentages are all wacky. 13.5 is what it says here. 14.7. So I guess they're just sourcing it from different oracles, different indexes. There's some confusion there. All right, Arweave on the daily, up above the midline of the Bollinger Band. I want to really quickly, is Bitcoin doing that? Is it back up above the midline of the Bollinger Band? Yes, but see how much time it's spent below it, only now cracking that Bollinger Band and really with some veracity, really with some seriousness. It's not turning back, right? We're going higher from here, is at least what that candlestick's telling me. A very decisive candlestick. Not getting hung up, not getting all caught up in the details. We're going higher, okay? We don't care about the weekly MACD. We're going higher. So that's Bitcoin. Ethereum so spending and kind of in a downtrend, really letting that 20-day moving average, that midline of the Bollinger Band, really get it down, right? When it can't get up above it and print a full candlestick, which it did do here, But when it can't do, let's say, 3 in a row, then it just gets all scared and rejects and pushes lower. Ethereum, I think, is going to do very well in the bull run. I have a big bag of Ethereum. It's my second largest crypto holding, I believe. I might have more Chainlink. No, I'm pretty sure I have the most Ethereum, other than Bitcoin. I am one of those guys who has a lot of Bitcoin, right? I keep the majority of my crypto holdings in Bitcoin for the bull run. And why? Well, conservative, right? Risk management. Part of my strategy. Not looking to become a millionaire overnight or even in 5 years, right? Looking to take the slow, methodical route. All right, what we're doing, Arweave. Arweave. Let's also compare it to Render, which has done very, very well. So Render has been trading up above that midline of the Bollinger Band quite decisively as well. All right, so let's get actually back on the Arweave charts and look at those. All right, so from midline Bollinger Band analysis, it's doing really well, right? And it's uptrending, hitting some higher lows and higher highs very nicely. I mean, this is a good looking chart. Let's zoom out and see. Yeah, so this is just good looking. And so this is an older. It was around in 2001. It looks like, so it was probably a launch in 2001. So it hasn't. Yeah, so there are some implications to that. I won't get them to them here. But let's see just from live price how much farther this has to move from a percentage standpoint back up to the all-time highs. You gotta love TradingView here. Goodness gracious. Come on. There we go. It is 100%. 100%. 104% back to those all-time highs of $91 per coin for Arweave. I think that's pretty realistic. That would at least that would do well. Now, here's what I'll say about Arweave. Just at a fundamental level, we'll come back to do some more TA for your super chat there, Malvin M. Arweave, it's pretty well bought at this point, right? I don't know that I'd say it's overbought. Let's go to the weekly. How would I answer that question? But the point I'm trying to make here is there's other cryptos that are underbought, right? Matic comes to mind. Now, if you have reason to think that Matic's not that great, then don't buy it, right? But Matic, in my opinion, is underbought. And I think it's going to do pretty well. I think it's going to do really well, right? Cardano, underbought. I think it should do well. All right, so how can we examine how overbought Arweave is? We can look at the momentum indicator, the MACD on the weekly. You have to go zoom out to really make this assessment, in my opinion. And I would not say it's overbought, right? It's come back and move back towards the 50 line. It's not just peaking out up here, right? That would be a clear indication of overbought. You probably see that on GameStop. So, all right, let's see what else we can pull out here. Arweave on the weekly, looking much more bullish than Bitcoin here on the MACD. No bear cross. You do have decelerating, a general deceleration here of the green histograms on the MACD, but I'd say that's still healthy because it's found a nice plateau and even has put in some higher highs there. So, I mean, on the weekly, this looks like really healthy. You also have nice, strong money flow. Ooh, that is very strong. In fact, I don't know how long it can sustain that level of money flow. If it can longer, then this thing could hit those all-time highs pretty quick. Because this is the weekly chart, right? You can make those decisions, make those observations with a lot more confidence because it's weekly. The weekly chart's much harder to lie, much harder to manipulate. All right, let's see. On the 4-hour... Let's throw on the Lux Algo, the breaker blocks here. Looking pretty good. Could be coming into some resistance here. It needs to put in a higher high because right now we'd be putting in a lower high if we close the candlestick here on the 4-hour. It really needs to get back up above 44.9. Really needs to get up, psychologically needs to get up a print above 45. So if we don't get up above 45, an aggressive trader might say you rotate out. You take your profits, you rotate out into something that is going to outperform. But honestly, I'm more partial. And here on the Investing Bros, we assume that some folks are coming into the cycle for the first time. So a buy and hold strategy is going to be a lot more sustainable and a lot less anxiety inducing. But if you're an experienced trader, if we can't get a print above 45 today, you might be thinking about taking profit. Because this has also been a level, this has been a zone where there's been some carnage, right? There's been a pretty big rejection. We had a candlestick really high, couldn't close above. Ooh, it's a little scary, right? Couldn't close there. Price exploration to the upside. Explored, got murdered, right? Big rejection, and then that was followed by a pretty big move to the downside, 50%, right? But this is Arweave. This has a lot of good fundamentals. I definitely, if you're sitting here looking at this chart and you're a hodler of Arweave and something I've said has convinced you to sell, that's not my intention here. I did some TA on the lower time frames and just kind of showing the bullish side, the bearish side. If you bought Arweave because you've studied it and you have high conviction in it as an asset that it's going to go higher during the bull run, hold what you got. It is 942. Good Lord. We've been having so much fun. Why Bitcoin hasn't joined the latest meme stock craze this week. So this is an interesting article. We got a good quotation. This is from yesterday. And the news today is brought to you all by the self-custody cold wallet Arculus. Arculus, we have a link for them in the description. Self-custody and true ownership of your crypto starts with Arculus. Head on down and get a discount on Arculus services for cold wallet storage of your crypto, not your keys. I heard you say it. Not your crypto, not your keys, not your crypto. Let's get into this story here. Why Bitcoin hasn't joined the latest meme stock craze this week. Thanks for hanging with me. We are way over time here, but we're going to keep on trucking. This isn't 2021 when the world was locked down. No. Awash with liquidity, said Anatoly T, co-founder of crypto exchange Nexo. It's worth remembering GameStop mania peaked in January 2021, well before Bitcoin's more than $60,000 highs in April and November that year. If you want to read into events of the past 24 hours, you could suggest GameStop may be acting as a leading indicator ahead of the next leg of Bitcoin's post-halving fun. And this is what I hope becomes the conversation, because this is a very sophisticated take. It's something I didn't realize until yesterday, but all of this data that we've gotten from the moves higher in AMC and GameStop are harbingers of what could be to come, which I would have to say at this point has been muted retail rotation. Why do you say muted, T-Shrum? Well, because GME, GameStop, has not gone back to its all-time highs. Now, T-Shroom, it sounds like you're asking for a lot. It sounds like you're being greedy here. Well, I don't know that I'm being greedy. What I'm doing is looking at the charts, and I'm seeing an asset that was capable of moving very quickly. And I'm not saying that this move is over, but we do have, CNBC headline here saying why the Bitcoin craze. Here it is. This is a different headline. GameStop AMC decline as meme stock rally fizzles out after just 2 days. So does that mean that it has fizzled out? Not necessarily, but CNBC is saying it is, and a lot of folks are, I guess you could say that, of course they're saying that because they're shills for Wall Street, CNBC. I suppose you could take that angle. The point is that all this volume, all this liquidity that led to higher highs, much higher highs here for GameStop, the big question that I like this article is asking is, could that rotate back into Bitcoin? And then also, what did we learn about it? What did we learn about it, unfortunately, was that retail is a little bit subdued, right? It didn't pop off with this, I think it's like 2,600%, 2,009, almost call it 3,000% gains in less than a week, right? What did we get this go around? Roaring Kitty comes in, 620. Now, obviously, there's more factors. That maybe the greater fool theory isn't as strong with GameStop this time around. And I'm just trucking over the fact that you might be very bullish on GameStop. I'm sorry. I did all this yesterday talking about my more nuanced theories on GameStop. The point I'm looking at here is, can Bitcoin price go up? And what can we learn from GameStop as a result of what we just saw? And I would say that retail rotation is muted. That's really the takeaway. And that is bearish, right? Does that mean that Bitcoin's not going higher? Does that mean that the bull market is over, the rally's over? No, it just may take longer. There you go, T-Shroom. Good job. You said a sentence. Other headlines here I found remarkable. Just in, El Salvador mined nearly 474 Bitcoin worth almost 30 million using volcano-fueled geothermal power in the last 3 years. Reuters reports. T-Shroom, is this going to affect my crypto portfolio? No, but this is freaking awesome. Got a Treyu in the chat. Treyu, very active in the Discord, providing a lot of value there. So is username. Username said, my goal is to one day sell my link and with that buy Shroomy and T-Shroom a steak dinner. They always supported my link habit. Bro, I hope you I hope you're going to be able to afford more than a steak dinner with how much link you buy. Very funny. Drew P said, speaking of food, looking good. Wait, what? Speaking of food, looking good morning, T-Shroom. Oh man, I'm missing the context on that one, but that just is just funny, just because of the words you picked. Check out the chandelier exit indicator. Chandelier exit indicator. That sounds really interesting. I'm going to screenshot that and look at it later because I have no idea what that is, and we're running way over time here already. Link and ADA are sleeping beasts, says Atreyu. Love it. Kyle Fields jumping in on the topic. Says, El Salvador is crazy corrupt. My grandmother back and forth from there. It's hardcore. Yeah, interesting. Well, where does she fall on Nayib Bukele? Because Nayib Bukele, is he good? Is he bad? What's her opinion on that, or your opinion? I don't know whose opinion you value more here, but it sounds like she's the one kind of getting boots on the ground access. Oh, bros, I'm so glad I did the news here because this is a really big headline. Vanguard, avowedly anti-crypto, names Bitcoin-friendly ex-BlackRock executive as CEO. So BlackRock, of course, this is kind of a crazy move. And this kind of throws a bunch of cold water onto my theory that Wall Street is cut in half, pro-Bitcoin on the BlackRock and Fidelity side, and anti-crypto on the Vanguard Plus side, JP Morgan. Because why would they hire someone from the other side to be their CEO? And maybe it's because they felt the pressure and they realized they've lost. Maybe. I'm interpreting all of this in real time. Let's get into some of the details here. Salim, this is the new CEO. Salim R. left BlackRock in January to seek a new leadership or entrepreneurial opportunity outside the firm, he said. Then the move came shortly after the asset manager launched the iShares Bitcoin Trust, which Rami oversaw the filing and logistics for, according to Bloomberg Intelligence senior ETF analyst Eric Bokanis. He has been quoted about his interest in digital assets, although I'm not sure that's going to change Vanguard's stance, but he will be the CEO. Who knows? Door much more open now, in my opinion. That's important, right? Oh, wow, this is bullish. Guys, we got that Wisconsin headline yesterday. We got this Vanguard is getting the most bullish Bitcoin maxi you can imagine as their new CEO. No, that's I'm exaggerating with that. But this is another bullish headline, right? Is it going to be immediate price go up? I don't think so, right? But these just all the things are continuing to line up. More quotation here. The current investor, is this from Rami himself? In a statement, Ramji said he would be working with Vanguard's leadership to lead the company into the future. You'd have to really squeeze that to pull out Bitcoin. But the current investor landscape is changing, and that presents opportunities for Vanguard to further its mission of giving people the best chance for investment success, which is blah, 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 blah. Who cares? Are you pro Bitcoin or not? I don't know. I think he's going to be reserved on this, but the smoking gun so far for me is how awesome CoinDesk is with their website. No, it's, where did it say? So he oversaw the filing and logistics for the Bitcoin Trust, which means he was having lots of conversations with Wall Street people who are agnostic to Bitcoin or maybe even bearish on Bitcoin. But he was definitely having conversations with BlackRock insiders that are pro-Bitcoin, right? This doesn't get passed unless you have an argument for Bitcoin being good, at least to collect these, but being good because it's a flight to quality is a pervasive thesis, pervasive sentiment within BlackRock, the largest AUM in the world. I think we could leave it there. There was two more. I'll just read these two headlines I thought were important. You can now invest in a Bitcoin fund and earn yield in Nordic countries. Not sure how that works, but that's the headline. Vitalik Buterin proposes new Ethereum gas model change EIP 7706. What is the impact? So those are some other headlines you guys can go do further reading on your own. Today is Wednesday. Caleb Franzen should be on. I don't know if he'll be my only guest or if Tim will be on. If I've decided to allow Tim to come back or not, I'm not sure. No, of course. Tim's sick. We've been praying for him to get better. Hope he comes back on today. He did say that he was going to try. So we're going to see. Hopefully by like around noon or 1 o'clock, we'll know if Tim's coming back. Kyle Fields giving us a little bit more details on the El Salvador sitch. He said, the last dude my grandmother sold a property to down there had bodyguards walking into the bank with AKs. It's a regular thing. Interesting. So, no direct answer on her views on Nayib Bukele. That's okay. You know, and I believe you. I believe you that real estate exchanges are probably very dicey. We take them for granted here in the United States. You know, you buy, you sell a home. It's all managed by the deed office, right? All that violence, all that potential for violence is contained very effectively. The T Shroom Show with special guest Tim. That's right. She's about the money, no opinions. I love it. Oh, that's badass. That's great. You've got a cool grandma. Kyle Fields. Bros, 3 p.m. at least, Caleb will be joining us. And by least, I mean, by most, Caleb Franzen will be joining us for the show to break down the CPI further. There's a lot of, we talked about how coffee isn't included. I want to get his input on that. Is that important? Or should we just keep on sipping, right? And then just kind of breaking down just in general, what does this mean for the future? Could we potentially get a cut from the Fed earlier than we thought? My guess is probably not. At this point, the CPI print is not enough of a beat. But I want to see what Caleb thinks. And perhaps he's on a completely different wavelength. Maybe he's thinking that this is all, smoke screen and we're really going to get a hike. We'll have to find out when Caleb comes on. We're going to talk about it. We're going to be about it. And hopefully Tim will be able to join us as well. And we're going to have some fun. If you're staying hydrated, must mean you're human. If you're trading, make sure you keep your stop losses tight. We basically just did an hour on a 30-minute show. Thanks for watching, bro. See you at 3.
Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots, stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor of the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. T-Shroom's news, got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots, stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.